Hi guys, so the NBA has made a very interesting rule change. I just read about it today, which I think will affect the games a lot. Okay, I want to talk about this. This rule change is a move to a more FIBA kind of game, I think, to keep with the flow of the fast-paced game that the NBA has evolved into. I love it, and I want to talk about it right now. So what is this rule change about? So basically, any transitional foul or fouls committing during a fast break where the player doesn't make a play for the ball is considered a technical foul. One free throw plus possession on the attacking team. So what does this mean? So basically it's a little bit more like FIBA. So basically if Team A commits a turnover and Team B is in transition or during a fast break, you can't commit an intentional foul to stop the play, or else it'll be considered a technical foul with one free throw plus possession. Okay, so back then, a lot of players committed intentional fouls to stop a fast break from happening. The NBA is calling this a take foul. The NBA has their own terminologies when it comes to their game. Hey, they are the basketball games to watch, right? Which a take foul means a foul when a defender does not make a legitimate play on the ball. So maybe he pulled on the player, he pushed them, or he fouled a different player altogether. Okay, teams do this in order to stop the play from happening. Okay, stop a fast break from happening. They do this if they have a foul to give. Normally it'll just be a personal foul and the play restarts with the opposing team setting up all over again. This time it's moving towards a more FIBA-like approach, okay? And to keep with the fast-paced and exciting game, basically you can intentionally foul if you want, but you have to do it while making a play for the ball. It could be a hard swipe on the ball handler, it could be a shoulder check. As long as you're making a play for the ball, that's okay. That's considered a personal foul. This will encourage better sportsmanship and of course makes it makes the NBA even more exciting, almost like an NCAA type. So here are some details about the new rules and we'll go through it one by one. So number one here, any immediate foul after a change in possession but before the offensive team is able to advance the ball will incur this new penalty. What does this mean? So basically, like, if you are handling the ball and you lose the ball right away, you can't foul the defender who got the ball from you. You can't do it. You have to run back to play defense, or else this will be considered a technical foul. Or if you made a bad pass and you committed a turnover and that offensive team now, the defending team now got the ball and they're making a run for fast break, you got to run back. You can't foul the opposing team after you lose possession. That's very, very good. Okay, number two, any offensive player off the ball who is fouled during a transition scoring opportunity will trigger the new increased penalty. So if you foul someone else outside who isn't handling the ball, yes, that's also, especially during a transition, that's also considered a technical foul with the new penalty. Okay? Number three, the increased penalty will not be applied if the offensive player is in the act of shooting. In that case, a shooting foul will be applied. So basically, if it's a transition already and you commit the foul while the offensive player is shooting the ball or doing a layup, it's no longer that increased penalty. It'll be considered a shooting foul. Lastly, number four, a defensive player making a legitimate play on the ball won't receive the new increased penalty, though they may be subject to clear path to the basket foul. This is very confusing. So basically, clear path to the basket foul is when the offensive player is already out on the break and he's about to make a layup, or he's already dribbling towards the basket and no defender is in front of him. If there's a defender beside him or behind him and makes a swipe at the ball, it might not be considered that new penalty, but they may consider it a clear path to the basket foul, which is a technical foul. It's the same, one free throw plus possession, I believe. So they're the same. It's just a different category of foul. So the NBA also added that this is interesting, the teams can commit take fouls or intentional fouls, as they call it, in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or any time during the overtime period without added penalties. This means that in the last 2 minutes, this new rule is off the table. You can commit fouls if you want to. Okay? So if the defending team has a foul to give in the last 2 minutes, which is usually very rare, or if they need to foul to stop the clock in the last 2 minutes and get the opposing team on the free throw line, then yes, you can do this in the last 2 minutes or during overtime. Okay, now players will still be hesitant to do this anyways, because most of the time by the last 2 minutes or during overtime, they're already in the penalty when a foul is required. So, you know, or maybe you don't want to foul out of the game by this time. So yeah, sure, that rule being taken off is a good thing. So how do I feel about this? Well, I think that's this is a good thing. This may look like a minor change to most people, but think about it, guys. It makes a lot of difference. Think about it. If a team loses possession of the ball, they can't foul anymore. They gotta run back and play some defense. Okay, they can. As soon as you lose possession, you will now see players running back. They won't be committing any fouls anymore, because that'll be a technical foul after losing possession. They need to get the only way that they can foul again is when the opposing team brings the ball forward across the halfway line. That's when you can start fouling intentionally. So losing the ball and fouling right away is no longer allowed. This is a good thing. Okay, training will be different. Players are running the floor more often now, especially when the ball changes possession. Transitions and fast breaks off the steal or off the turnover. This is more likely to happen now, and that's simply because teams just can't foul right away when they lose the ball. This is very good, and I think this is great because, you know, it matches the kind of faster pace the NBA of this era is known for, and hopefully it makes the game even more exciting to watch, because now players are running. They're running now back and forth, especially if there's a turnover. Very exciting. Personally, I'm a slow pace kind of guy. I prefer the game slow pace. I love seeing point guards bring the ball up, you know, and make calls. You know, Andre Miller days, you know, Michael Jordan slowing the ball down, or Kobe Bryant bringing the ball forward back in the day, Gary Payton, even Rajon Rondo back then. I don't like him, but yeah. You know, I love point guards calling the shots, tons of passes, set plays, and players running around and setting screens on the baseline. That's the good old school that I like. But, you know, this is the NBA today, and I believe this rule change will make it more challenging and more physical for players now, because they're now running more often. They got to keep an eye on the ball at all times, because if possession is lost, everybody's got to run back. That's just my thought on it, guys. So what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, and I'll see you in our past, present, and future videos. Sawasdee krap!